Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. It is a social network right here on Radio Ansaar. We have the honor of welcoming our next guest here in studio. We have the representative of Capital Vaults, Mr. Theo joining us here today to talk about Capital Vaults. And remember, you can get through to us on 0609041056. And I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation indeed. I think when you hear the word vault, you see those movies with those big doors and all of that. But it gets a bit more interesting than that because we're in a new technological age. So we're going to leave it to Theo to explain what Capital Vaults is. And remember, you can ask questions for our guests. It's going to take us all the way to the end by 4:30. We will break at 4 p.m. for the news. Theo, good afternoon and welcome to the airwaves of Radio Ansaar and the social network.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here and I appreciate the time and the platform. And yes, hopefully today we'll be unpacking a little bit about what Capital Vaults is and what we offer and how it may benefit everybody.
Absolutely,
and how you can actually start thinking about why a safe deposit box, as it's traditionally called, might be useful in your life. So I hope we can unpack that.
Why not? Let's get into it. I think, when we hear the word vaults, I think people picture this huge door with those turning things and, these bars that stick out. But is Capital Vaults that kind of vault? Explain to us sort of the thought process of how this Capital Vaults came about and explain how the whole process is. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, absolutely. When you think about a safe deposit box and you start thinking about vaults, the natural thing is to obviously imagine a massive steel box with really intricate doors and a big circle wheel in the front that you turn and that will unlock the vault. It's not too far off from what a vault should be. Luckily, technology has come a long way, so we've got a lot of security features built into the new types of vault. And I think we've also got to look at what a conventional safe deposit box facility would be versus what Capital Vaults is, which is an automated system. So just to give you a little bit of history on safe deposit boxes, the technology has been around for about 180 years. So service of a safe deposit box used to be for merchants. So a shop owner in a remote part of town would be the person that would always have cash because people would be deposit or buying items from them, and they would then take that money off and pay for goods and services once a month whenever the appropriate merchant carts would come in. And then that created a need for merchants themselves or sellers to have a really good safe in place. And over time, people in town would then ask if they could store, other shopkeepers would ask if they could store items within that vault. And eventually that's how we sort of got into a banking type of system and how banks maintained a safe deposit box facility. So over the years now, conventional safe deposit boxes have been a requirement and it's a norm, but unfortunately they've also become really susceptible to break-ins, to fraud. Basically employees within the facility would find a way to dispossess you from your possessions. And we did a really interesting interview with I'm not sure if we can say it, but with someone recently.
Yes.
They were telling us about how they used to do in-service with one of the major banks in South Africa. And when they had gone through to the branch, they were quite surprised that they were taken into the safe deposit box room, the vault, and they were showed contents. And at the time when they had experienced that, they were like, wow, gold and jewelry and necklaces, and wow, this is pretty cool. But over time, she actually realized that was actually quite shocking. So, if you want to see more about that, the podcast will come out so you can have a look. But it was actually shocking for me because I would have thought the banks would have stricter controls around those things. And especially, let's call it 20 years ago or 10 years ago. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating when it was. But let's call it between 10 and 20 years ago when this would have happened to the guest that we had at the time. It would have been really weird that type of behavior would have just gone unchecked, completely unchecked. That being said, though, 2017 FNB got, or their safe deposit facilities were robbed twice.
Wow.
And 150 million, 180 million, which is what people actually came forward with and stated that that's what they had inside.
Sure.
So we're talking scary numbers. But if a facility like FNB, I mean, FNB is massive. They're one of the biggest banks in South Africa. They've got all the money in the world. How is it possible that with all that money, they could not keep a conventional safe deposit facility safe?
Yeah.
And that comes back to the reason of the facility itself being inherently flawed. It's got risks built in. If you have a facility that's got a really good safe wall, etc., on the outside, yes, you can keep a lot of the people from outside coming in, and we'll unpack that a little bit now. But what about the people who are already inside? And that's the part, that is the scary part.
Yeah.
That is where the potential for displacement of property, theft. I mean, if we're calling it what it is.
Too many eyes on the prize.
Way too many.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone had to see, Zaire coming in once a month, like clockwork. Zaire always comes in straight after payday, and for whatever reason, he's always carrying a little pouch with him, and he seems to be going in constantly. They know.
Inshallah, one day. I'll have the nice little pouch filled.
Of course. So I can now start, if I'm an employee on the inside, I can now start creating some sort of profile. And I actually want people who have, a traditional safe deposit box. I want you to start thinking about simple things. When you walk in, do people know your name? Do they greet you and they're like, "Hello, Mr. Basa, good to see you again. Mr. Basa, I see you not carrying your pouch today." Or, "Mr. Basa, I noticed you came in with a different car." Or, "Mr. Basa, I noticed you haven't gone to the check-in counter for your firearm."
Those are like the questions that sort of raises alarms, isn't it? Yeah.
You should feel afraid immediately, because that means that someone
who is keeping tabs on you. Yeah.
Exactly. They look, and I don't want to say that it comes all the time with like bad intentions. People are trying to be friendly. Of course, they're noticing you, but unfortunately, you just can't not notice. Mr. Basa comes here every month at this time. Mr. Osman comes here every month at this time, or weekly at this time. Mrs. Mudley is there all the time, and and so on and so forth. The part that should be really scary is that a conventional vault, a safe deposit box vault, has built-in flaws, and the built-in flaw is the human interaction. That is where everything falls apart.
Yeah.
It's happened to FNB twice. It's happened to Nedbank. It's happened to ABSA. It's happened to Standard Bank. It's happened in the States, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase. Just do a Google search on safe deposit boxes, and I want you to be very careful in it. It's conventional systems. Okay? So the reason I tell you all of this is because Gunnebo, which is one of the leading manufacturers of vaults worldwide, Swiss-listed company, 5,000 employees globally, German technology. So Gunnebo are one of the biggest vault technology manufacturers. If you think of Chubb in South Africa, they own it. You think of Hamilton in the States, they own it. They realized that the conventional system has a problem, and they needed to fix it. So about 4 decades ago, they created and bought and put together a really robust automated system.
Okay.
And that is what Capital Vaults is. So Capital Vaults has a grade 7.2 vault, which is fully encapsulated. And what that means is the roof, the walls, the floor is solid vault, grade 7.2 vault.
So it's like nearly impossible to break it in like what? Couple of hours or anything of the sort?
Yeah. So actually they do
complicated system. Yeah,
very, very. So Gunnebo do lots of lab tests, and if you go onto our website capitalvaults.com, you'll see that there's a video there. Just click on the video and have a look. They've done a lab test where you can see safe breakers, or people that a lab that has to specialize in breaking into a safe with all the tools that they wanted necessary. They took more than 2 hours to make a hole in the vault. That's not getting in. That's just a tiny hole.
Sure.
And from that hole, then they've got to, increase the size of the hole and eventually get in. But more than 2 hours. Now, that is the level of protection we have in our vault. And then further to that, the vault itself is managed autonomously. So robotically, there are 5 robots inside our vault, our grade 7.2 vault, that will pick your box for you and bring it through the vault to you into your privacy suite.
Wow.
Sounds really far-fetched. It sounds futuristic. It sounds terribly complicated. It's really not. If you speak to any of our customers or go have a look at our reviews on Google, have a look at what our customers say. And let me tell you, to get reviews from people in a vault or you making use of a vault service is terribly difficult.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to put their name down. Nobody wants to give us reviews. But look, we've got very happy customers. We get compliments continuously. Even just today, just before I walked in, one of our customers took on another box onto her service, and I said, "Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. We appreciate the support, and we also love knowing that you are enjoying the service." And she replied with a heart back saying, "You have no idea how much I love this." And I was blown away by that.
Wow.
So we are very customer centric, and I want to talk about that. So in terms of our automated system, the 5 robots inside will scan your box 4 times each, which means that your box will be scanned 20 separate times before it comes into your hands. And what I mean by coming into your hands, sorry, I should explain that.
Yeah.
That happens in a privacy suite. So the privacy suite is the place that you as a customer would have access to. Once you're in the suite and you've called up your box, no one else can come into the suite. But that's not where the vault boxes are kept. That's not where your box is kept. That's not where the vault is. It's a suite, almost think of it like a really secure room with an ATM terminal in it. That ATM terminal is linked directly to the vault.
Wow.
Our vault is underground, like I said, fully encapsulated. So robotically, it would be pulled out from its cubicle in the vault. Your box, rather, would be pulled out robotically in the vault itself. It would be scanned 4 times, passed from robot to robot. So there's 5 robots, also scanning it each time, and then it'll come up to a terminal. And that terminal is where you would engage with your box. That terminal is contained within the privacy suite. So there's been
so everything is underground. You just so is there like a process where you actually can access the box? How do you retrieve it? Is there like you have to have a fingerprint, or is it like a code, or what's the verification to actually get that particular box?
Yeah, great question. So at your privacy suite now, for you to authenticate and even get access in as a customer, you would need to present your EMV card.
Okay.
And I'll unpack that because I'm just going to be throwing a lot of terminology. But basically, it's a bank card that you have, which has 5 layers of security on it. It's not your personal information. It's not your banking information. It's none of that. It's just an EMV technology that's built onto your card. So it would be that, plus your fingerprint, plus a PIN code that you choose as an individual or as a customer. That becomes your authentication with the terminal. That terminal stores all the intelligence and information within the vault itself. So a lot of people would often ask us, but surely someone can hack this. Absolutely, it can be hacked, but you have to break into the vault first. So you're going to break into the vault, which takes you more than 2 hours. You're going to hack the system and then try and get access. But, within 6 minutes, you're going to be caught by SAPS, which has a 6-minute response time in the location that we're in. You're going to be caught by the 24-hour patrolling guards on site, probably well before the 6 minutes. You're going to be caught by the CCTV camera footage that gets, that's recording constantly. So there are many, many obstacles in your way if you were trying to break into capital vaults. It's not as exposed as any of our competitors, not as exposed as the banks used to be. That sounds crazy, but our location is in such a well-protected vicinity that they have they spend a lot of money, 50 million rand a year on security
alone,
constantly making sure that the 80,000 visitors that come through to this compound on a monthly basis is well protected. So the second you drive in, they've already taken your number plate. They've recognized your number plate. If there's anything that's been flagged or any of the BOLO reports, be on the lookout for reports, you'd be flagged immediately. They've taken a picture identification of you when you've come in through the terminals, through the boom gates. There's only one entrance and one exit. Anyone in security will tell you one entrance, one exit means that it's controlled and also means that it's very difficult to come in and out. Okay. And then further to that, from the time you've driven in, you are being monitored. And it sounds a little bit like Big Brother, but you have to be, because we want to make sure that when you are on site at our place, that no one is loitering around in the parking lot,
Sure.
keeping tabs on who's coming and going. because that's like a fundamental risk. That's just crazy. That's where the anxiety and the stress of having a safe deposit box at a conventional facility should kick in. Walking in.
So you come in discreetly at any time of the day. Is there any sort of process where you have to fill in your name or report to somebody to say, I'm going to access my box? Is there like a working hours to sort of enter and get your safety deposit box? Is there? Just talk us through those kind of processes, which is common, I guess, at any sort of business for that matter.
Yeah. Okay, so in the conventional system, what you're speaking of is the norm.
Yeah.
You'd have to make an appointment. You'd have to, present your ID, come through during 9 to 5 working hours and retrieve your items. We don't do that at all.
Okay.
So your authentication and your complete visit is facilitated autonomously, so automatically. You have to think of this as the most advanced and superior type of facility that exists, because that's exactly what it is. Even though it's 40 years old, it has been iterated many times, and advancements in technology have been built in. It is completely different to what you would have at a conventional vault.
Yeah.
So in terms of your question, when you come through 24/7, 365.
Oh wow.
No appointment needed, no presentation of ID required. You authenticate yourself at the privacy suite door. You go into the privacy suite. Once you're in, you call up your box at the terminal by doing the same, authentication, the 3-factor authentication being EMV, being your PIN number, and being your fingerprint.
Okay.
Once that is done, the terminal will bring your box to you, through the terminal, to your hands. You do your transaction, whatever that takes, and send it away. Our entire process, if you had to call up your box, that would take under 2 minutes, probably a minute. Let's just say, for argument's sake, a minute and 10 seconds. You do your transaction. Typically, when we are either depositing something into our box or removing something from our box, that is an under-minute process. It's not a very long process. But even if you wanted to spend a bit of time, you've got the time to do so. You've got up to 15 minutes in our privacy suite, which is ample. That gives you plenty of time to do whatever you need and send your box back. And you know that as soon as your box goes, it's back in the vault. That's that grade 7 to fully encapsulated vault that we've got with no humans walking in and out constantly.
Yeah.
That is the vault that we have in our automated system, which is very different to the conventional system, which is still unfortunately being employed, but which the banks have decided that they can't do anymore. And I was mentioning that FNB, Absa, Nedbank, Standard Bank, with all their money, were unable to keep this safe.
Sure.
Because it's just a system that cannot be kept safe. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, they couldn't keep it safe internationally. So if they couldn't keep it safe, and they have decided to discontinue conventional vaults completely, that tells you that a conventional vault system is intrinsically flawed. It is a system that is prone to failure, that is prone to losses, and susceptible to fraud and theft. It is a system that you do not want to invest in. You do not want to put your valuables there. You do not want to put your life at risk by visiting that facility or those vaults. You need to have an automated safe deposit box system. That is why Capital Vaults is the safer safe deposit box.
Yeah.
Once you see it, as much as I can talk about it, it becomes so clear to you visually that our system is superior, which is why our customers for the past 6 years have been coming to us from conventional systems. We get comments on a daily basis. Just today I had a conversation with a potential client who said he loves the fact that he can come in discreetly. No one sees him. No one knows what he's done. He loves that he couldn't find the facility, and that's purposefully done. If you're not a customer, you wouldn't know where we are.
Yeah.
You'd have a rough idea, surely, after 6 years, people have a rough idea. But you don't know. You just don't know where we are.
Completely concealed, yeah.
Completely concealed. It's discreet, it's private, it's camouflaged. And when you come in, I think of our customers who are, moms. We've got a lot of moms who bring their children with. And a conventional system, you can't take your children into the vault. You're not allowed to. So you'd have to find a babysitter or leave them in a restaurant and hope that they'll be safe while you go into the vault to what you need to. With our system, you walk into the privacy suite with your children. Why not?
Family friendly.
absolutely family friendly because it is a customer centric service.
Okay.
You need to be able to come when you feel like it, when you need to. I mean, if you're running your business from 9 to 5, we've got a lot of customers from Richards Bay as well, funny enough. So Richards Bay, what's that, like 45-minute drive from...
No, it's 1.5 hours.
1.5 hours from here?
It's like a 2.5 hours, actually. Roughly around about 2.5 hours.
I think from us, it's maybe a little bit shorter. Let's call it an hour.
Okay.
So we've got customers that, have work during the day. They're busy running their businesses and they're busy making money. And now they're expected to leave work at 2 o'clock, rush through to a conventional system, get access to their box during working hours very quickly, and then go back. That doesn't make sense. With our system, which is like I said, a customer centric system, we need to be able to assist you whenever. And that's exactly what we've done. That's why it's a 24/7 facility. So if you're busy doing whatever it is that you need to do during working hours, you're seeing to your business, taking care of your customers, dealing with the things that come as being, by being a business owner in your various businesses. You should be able to, at 8 o'clock at night, decide, listen, I've done my cash up for the day, but I don't feel comfortable leaving this amount of cash sitting inside the business, which you should never do. Let me come and drop it off quickly at Capital Vaults, and in the morning I'll come pick it up and go do my banking. That is what we offer. You can come at 8 o'clock at night, come here at 2 o'clock in the morning if you want to. Go and do whatever it is you need to do without having to make an appointment.
So 24-hour access.
24/7,
7 days
365.
Yeah.
Knowing full well that the entire time you're there, you're safe, you're secure.
No looking over my shoulder.
No. Another, beautiful story that we've gotten, or maybe just part of a story, was a customer who told us when she's here, she doesn't have any anxiety. Whereas, when she was with our competitors, she felt that anxiety from the second you're in the parking lot. You feel like people are watching you constantly.
Because your belongings is your belongings, and there's a risk attached to it when you're traveling with it, yeah.
Absolutely.
You're like in a vulnerable state, especially when there's people around you. You don't know what to expect. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just imagine, would-be criminals sitting in the parking lot, monitoring what's happening, etc. Even if you didn't have anything, some of our customers keep documents, things that aren't valuable on a piece of paper, but it's sentimentally, it's worth something to you. Time-wise, it's worth something to you. Like a title deed, for example, that you would want to store. Trying to get a title deed replaced, if you lose it, if you misplace it, if it's been stolen.
It's a headache, yeah.
It's a mission. Government in South Africa is not the most efficient. They're not the friendliest. Those are things you just don't want to deal with. So even if you were doing something completely, let's say, unassuming in its nature, and the items that you were depositing or withdrawing were completely invaluable to anyone else, you're still at risk because someone sees you going into a vault that's in an open parking lot, or in a place that's completely exposed. They see you going in, and the expectation is, okay, Zaire is carrying a bag with him. He must have something important. Let's see what car he's jumping into. Let's take his number plate down. We pay our buddies at the traffic department to give us his home address, and we pay him a visit. So those are the things that
the stories, and it also triggers a memory of when I was in school, in high school. One of my buddies, a bit older than me, and he was actually like sort of neighbors in Aslam Heights once upon a time. And his dad traveled to the bank, and it was also like clockwork. Every month at a certain time, at the end of the month, he'll go with a duffel bag, and I'm talking about like probably in the late 80s, early 90s. And the fact was, the one day he went there, it's clockwork. He exited in the parking lot. A couple of guys came up to him, tried to take the bag from him. He tried to obviously keep it, pulled out a gun, and shot the man dead, unfortunately. And that's a true story.
That's
and the kids were like about maybe the eldest was about 3, and then the son was a year old. So it was a very tragic story, and that was like and it's one of those things quick as in the blink of an eye. So
That's
it makes you
so
think.
tragic.
Yeah, it does. It's a tragic story, but it seems that the safety nowadays. You need that safety. You don't want to sort of look over your shoulder. You want to go to a place where, if you have belongings, if you want to sort of keep your valuables safe, even if whether it's a Krugerrand or, as you mentioned, a title deed, you want to have that peace of mind going to a place knowing that I'm going to go in. I've got an intention. I'll put it there. Exit anytime I want, and not work within that 9 to 5 time frame. What's the sort of downfall of keeping a safe at home, and how important do you think it should be for people to keep their valuables like Krugerrands and title deeds and any documents that holds value in a safety deposit box?
Yeah, Zahir, I think you couldn't have said it any better, and the story that you shared was really tragic.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that that story is not a unique one. It's unfortunate that every single one of us has a story to tell about crime in South Africa. It is unfortunate that despite the knowledge of crime in South Africa being as prolific as it is, many people have, sort of made peace with it and have decided, look, we'll do the best we can and we'll continue. And we're saying that you don't have to do that. You can make your home safer. You can make your business safer. Get rid of the safe. That safe, first of all, is not a safe. It's a document locker. So if you walk into Macro, for example, and tell them that you're looking for a safe, they'll take you through to the aisle with the fancy yellow and black document holders. Yeah. And very clearly on the box itself, it will say, this is a document storage locker. It is not a safe. And the reason for that is because SABS has very strict standards. The South African Bureau of Standards has very strict standards of what a safe needs to be. And that has different gradings. So if you had a grade 3 vault, or safe rather, that would, be able to withstand break-in up to 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever that figure is. And that goes all the way upwards, as you go on. And you get to a grade 7-2 vault, which is the one that we've got, which takes more than 2 hours to break in. So that's the level of comfort that we want you to have. And you asked a very interesting question. Your question was, why, does someone need a safe deposit box? I think we have to also reframe our thinking in terms of what, constitutes valuable. Traditionally, a home would be a safe place to keep certain documents. It was a safe place because people weren't breaking into homes the way they are today. People weren't, sort of displacing each other for the most trivial of things. You could comfortably keep your title deed at home in a safe little place, and everyone knew this is where we would go. These days we change the people that work in our homes so frequently. We move homes so frequently. We have the floods, we have riots, we have, tornadoes, we've got hurricanes.
Had it all, yeah.
We have everything. And it's not going to change. Just because it's happened doesn't mean, okay, it's less likely to happen going forward. No, it actually means it's more likely. Because it's proven that it's happened. So now you need to know that this is a territory where something like that could happen. But what about the things you don't think about? What about your child playing at home and looking for a scrap of paper, which happens in my home frequently. I've got a little one, and she constantly looks for paper to scribble on and to write on and to draw on. Now, the normal thing is, let's scold our children. Let's tell them that it's wrong, to mess up mom and dad's documents and make them feel, less loved than they actually are. My point is that for a few R100 a month, we'll give you a solution to all of those problems. Why should your children feel less at home in their home? Why should you feel anxiety every time you leave your house because, I kept that contract there, I hope nothing happens? I mean, if there's a fire at your home, we hope that never happens, but if there's a fire, if there's a flood, if there's a tornado, if there's any number of things, how hard and how difficult would it be to replace that document? How much of time would it take from you? What is your time worth to you? As a normal person, all the way up to the most wealthy in our society, time is very valuable, especially in this day and age. Your time is worth far more than it used to be. COVID showed us how valuable time was. We never realized that the person that we love and care about might not be here tomorrow. The person, that we thought would have at least another 30, 40, 50 years in them was suddenly taken away from us.
Yeah.
And, that those things happen. That is life. You can't hope and pray and live in this belief that your life will always be perfect. That's not the way of the world. We are constantly faced with challenges. This is a way to help you with your challenges. And I started thinking about, because we get this question quite often, I don't need a safe deposit box. I don't have anything valuable. And then you say, okay, cool. Where are you in your life? No, I'm a young person. We're looking to have a baby soon. I said, okay, great. You're soon to be. Y'all are soon to be parents. I said, what a beautiful journey that's going to be, and congratulations, because it's probably the start of something so phenomenal. I honestly think having children and being a parent is such a journey. It's such a beautiful journey. If you protect it and nurture it, it's the most fulfilling type of experience that we can go through.
Sure.
And I also remember when my little one was coming, that the emotion that I felt was so overwhelming. Seeing the results of the test that my wife was pregnant, seeing that we have a little baby girl on the scan that was coming, all the way up to hospital, where your baby's there, and then she's got her little tags, and they give you a little card with her footprint on it, and they write down all the information, what time she was born, what her weight was, her height. Those are such beautiful and important, memorable moments, and they come with really great keepsakes. You think of your child when your child has their first haircut. You keep a little bit of their hair, and they lose their first tooth, so you keep that. And
sentimental stuff, yeah.
So sentimental.
Yeah.
Those are things that you really cannot put a price to, and it feels at the time maybe less than valuable. But let me try and explain what actually happens. So that is a beautiful moment. You write letters to your baby. I've done that. You write a letter, so you hope one day they read it, so that they understand in the state that you're in how emotional you are and how loved they are as a child. And we all go through that journey, but there's no place that we purposefully maintain all those keepsakes in. So we've got we started and we had a little box, and we had all her keepsakes in there, and we also had parents and family and friends who would come and provide gifts and cards, and the whole plethora of gratitude that you receive from the people in your life, now that this beautiful blessing is about to be bestowed upon you. So that happens, and then the child is born, and suddenly it's gifts. Those gifts turn into something we need to speak about at some point, but those gifts should be valuable gifts that the child can make use of in future. And I always say not just me, but a lot of people say the most valuable thing you can give someone is a gift that will appreciate in value. If I take 100 Rand and I go and buy, I don't know what 100 Rand buys these days, let's say 1,000 Rand, and I go buy a toy, that toy is great for that 20 minutes, an hour, 2 days, 10 days that the child might observe it. If you're lucky. But take 1,000 Rand and go buy a silver Kruger Rand, 1 ounce silver Kruger Rand. That shot up from 600 Rand about 2 years ago, and it's currently sitting at around 1,300 Rand.
Wow. So it's also increasing in value, yeah?
Increasing in value. So those are gifts that the child can make use of. Think about that value when the child is 20, when they're looking to possibly buy their first car, their first home, etc. So that's the first journey. Okay, so you're an expecting parent, you've got all these memorabilia, you've got these keepsakes that you actually don't have a place for. And you think that, listen, I'll keep it in a box at home. And then you realize, your helper has misplaced some of it or moved it around. Or your child was playing innocently, as a child does, and has now scribbled all over those letters and cards because they don't actually know what it is. And then you realize, oh, I should have kept this somewhere safer. That's the moment you realize you needed a safer place. So it's not just a safe deposit box. It's a memory box. It's a place you can go and store your keepsakes in. And you take that journey a bit forward. Your child now gets a bit older. They've got their academic transcripts. They've got their awards. They've got their sports accolades. That's also nice. Those are nice keepsakes to keep, letters from teachers. So we get reports from my little one, and the notes that are written about her. It's just such a beautiful thing to read when you're like, wow, the teachers who spend so much of time with them, they've written little notes and they've given their view. And that is important for a child to see, I think, when they're older, so that they can start appreciating that journey that they've gone through, that seems to have just, happened without any sort of real effort, which is true. I mean, having a child, if there's a lot of love in the home, it's really effortless, but it's such beautiful moments that need to be captured.
So it's not just basically the valuables of something that's like it's monetary or gold, or it can be silver if you'd like, but memories can also be stored away, because
Absolutely.
you look back and you say, where did I put that?
Oh, yes.
Years from now, like, I'm sure I placed it here, and like you said, it's been misplaced, or there was a little shuffling going on, a little spring cleaning going on, and before you know it, you threw it by mistake, and you can't get that memory back, and you sort of like with regret.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the child is in the hair. We locked it up about 20 years ago. I thought it was here in the spot.
Correct.
So keeping it in the safety deposit box doesn't necessarily mean just valuables with monetary value. It's also the memories that also stay attached to us from a very, very young age. For the child, like you said, for yourself, maybe your first report card that you had, that you kept through the years, and now you want to keep it, and I don't know, it just holds some sort of sentimental value to you. So let's talk about the safety deposit boxes itself, because now you want to gather all these memories. Are there specific sizes, or is it just one standard size of the safety deposit box? How does it work?
Okay, great. So now that you've decided, you've got valuables in the case of, money in Kruger rands, jewelry, hard drives, or memorabilia, keepsakes, that sort of thing, wills, title deeds, and you've decided you need a box. So when you come through Capital Vaults, we'll show you the 4 sizes that we have available.
Ah, okay.
And what's nice with our sizes is that they can be combined. So let's say you needed a box for documents. A silver size box with us, 420 mils by 260 mils by 60 mils would be adequate. That's larger than a ream of paper, and it could fit quite comfortably in there. And then you also decide, listen, I'd like to keep my baby, my child's memorabilia is in there, their academic transcripts. They're not quite an adult yet, so we've got some good keepsakes there, and we want to pass this box over to them. So you've got a gold size box, which is our next size, which would be 420 mils by 260 mils by 130 mils. And you have that box, and you keep all their keepsakes in there, and then you realize, actually, now we've also made quite a few investments into Kruger rands, and we've got a few rands that we want in hard cash, because we don't want to go to the bank to withdraw each time, because like you said with your friend, that is an easy place to target people with money. So you've now taken a platinum size box, and a platinum size box is 420 mils by 260 mils by 150 mils. Okay, so you've got that box now, and that box would keep your watch. You're an avid watch collector. You've got jewelry in there, wife's jewelry. You've got some of the items you received from your wedding. The gifts that we receive at our weddings, generally jewelry and those types of items. You've kept that safely in there, and then you realize over time that actually now I've outgrown this, and now I'm at the later stage of my life. I've got to start preparing now for my children, because I'm at that stage where anything could happen, and I just want to make sure that they are safe. So I've got a diamond size box as well. Now, a diamond size box is our largest box. It's 420 mils by 260. 420 by 260 by 210 mils. So you've got that size box as well, and in there you've got your last will and testament. You've got documents about your life policies, funeral plans, pension funds, retirement annuity, investments that you made in Apple when Apple used to be $1 or $2 and you're now a multi-billionaire. So you've got all these documents in there. You've got your business documents that you've kept, your SIPC documents, your memorandum of incorporation, your partnership agreements, important contracts with that Chinese buyer that you are exporting all your commodities to. You've got all those documents in a box so that when the day comes, your family are prepared. They know exactly what to do. They've got access to everything that they need. So this is a life cycle. It's not just for Zahir Basa, who's got millions and he's the only person who needs a box. There's also a space for Theo Mudley, who's a dad, and there's also a space for Patricia Reddy, and there's also a space for Taryn Williams, etc. Every single person needs a box. It seems as though a safe deposit box is made for a certain type of person, that it's a very elite type of system. That's not the case. It's only once you've got it that you realize, we've got Netflix. We pay $200 or $300 for Netflix. We've got DSTV, or we used to have DSTV that we paid over 1,000 rand for a month. We have a system that will give you peace of mind, that will take away the anxiety, that will allow your home to be safer, and to give your home and your place of love, where your family is, a feeling of comfort, so that at no point does anyone have to feel as though, I hope my child doesn't scribble on these documents today, and I hope if someone breaks in, they don't take this and they don't grab that, and I hope I locked the front door, and I hope I did this, and I hope I did that, and all this regret and this feeling of complete anxiety that we live with, that we've accepted as a norm in our life. We take that away from you. Come and see why Capital Vaults is the safer safe deposit box, why it's the safer facility, why this is a system that you absolutely need to have, and you'll understand immediately how this will benefit in your life.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. Is there any details you can share with our listeners here this afternoon?
Absolutely. Please go onto our website, capitalvaults.com. Have a look at...
One word, yeah?
Yeah, capitalvaults.com. Go have a look at what we've got. Go find our socials. That's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. There'll be a YouTube channel soon with just some sort of videos. But go and have a look at the frequently asked questions. And then also do yourself a favor, do a Google search on Capital Vaults and see what our customers are saying. See what reviews are being said. But I encourage everyone to please go to our website. Just for yourself, go onto the website. There's no obligation. We don't hold you into any contracts, and we don't have sign-up fees, and we don't have key fees, and we don't have multiple access fees and that sort of thing. We've gotten rid of all of that. Very different to the conventional system. Our system is a more customer-centric system. Go onto our website, have a look, do some research. But if you want more information, just drop us an email. So there's a contact us form on every single page. Multiple places, in fact. Put your details in and we'll get a consultant to call you. Ask the questions that make sense for you. Tell us why it is that you feel that you either don't need one or that you actually need one. Let us help guide that. We don't want to force you into something that you feel is a grudge, which is what we do with all our customers. If you want to cancel and leave at any time, no penalties, no clauses, nothing that's going to stop you. If you feel that this doesn't work for you anymore, we're not like our competitors. We're not going to blacklist you. We're not going to, put debit orders through your bank account. If this doesn't make sense for you, no problem at all. We understand. But it makes sense for our customers for the past 6 years, and it's not a system that is going to fall away. It's a system that's just getting stronger and stronger, and service in South Africa has to be improved.
Absolutely.
Because we are raising the bar with it.
There we go. So I think you're setting an example not only with the safer safety deposit option, but also customer-centric service as well, which is very, very important. Theo, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Looking forward to our next conversation, and to the team at Capital Vaults, thank you so much for joining us once more.